Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm really enjoying a series I've been doing that is taking isolated vocal tracks of some of the most epic, legendary pieces of all time. Next up is David Bowie, Space Oddity. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really cool. I also have a singing course. The course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com, where I also have a free singing forum, over 20,000 singers in there, all discussing all these different styles of greatness and hopes to help make you great at singing. So now David Bowie is an interesting character because I'd like to do a little bit of backstory on him. Got this from a really good source, and that was David Bowie was originally a street mime. You heard me right? A street mime, and then he went in from that into entertainment and then into singing and songwriting and so forth. Now, as the industry would put him early on, would put him in the crooner category. We've talked about this before. Who's a crooner? Well, of course, we know Frank Sinatra's a crooner. We know Michael Bublé's a crooner. We know Harry Connick Jr. is a crooner. We've got Tony Bennett, Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, Bobby Darin. There's a lot of crooners that happened. So in his era, he was coming off the crooner era and was inspired by that, and kind of that was his shtick, right? However, I want to remind you guys of a saying that I've said to you over and over again, and the saying is this, especially for you aspiring singers out there. A singer is only a singer because they have the guts to be one. I'm going to say it again. A singer is only a singer because they have the guts to step up to the front and become the vocalist, okay, the lead vocalist. And I'm going to say David Bowie certainly fits that category. Now, there's a lot of people who've talked a lot about this, and I would put Mick Jagger in that category. I would put all kinds of people, maybe even Bruce Springsteen and other people like that, as where they're more singer-songwriters, right? And we could go down a huge list of this. We just did Billy Joel, for example, and Billy Joel tried to get other people to sing his music and couldn't, so he just sang it himself, and then we know him as Billy Joel. Now, some of his stuff is really pretty tough to sing, but still, it's more of a singer-songwriter, and I could go on down the list of this, but he's certainly no exception. I want to dive right into the track, and I want you guys to take a listen for yourself. So without much further ado, here we go.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Now, I got to just say this. If you guys, let me turn this up a little bit so I can hear better. If you guys, let's say you're a judge on a singing show, and I just played this line to you.
Ground control to Major Tom.
And ground control to Major Tom. It's so melodramatic and so, the wobble vibrato. It's a ground control to Major Tom, right? You'd kind of, I don't think you'd hit the button, you know what I mean? So let's continue. And I'm not dissing him at all because he was able to reinvent himself, and he just went from, again, Ziggy Stardust and the creepy stuff, the androgynous-y kind of stuff he did way back in the day. Then we have, Rebel, Rebel, your face is a mess, right? We got that, Modern Love, right? We got Under Pressure, all these really cool songs that he's done over the years. So I'm not underselling his amazing artistry, his amazing songwriting, his amazing ability to reinvent himself, his swag in the way he presented his art, with his attire that he wore and whatnot. But let's continue. Here we go.
Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10, 9, 8.
He sounds so young there. 10, 9, 8. He must have been like 19, 20. It's what it sounds like to me. I'm going to move on to the next section, though. Here we go. Check this out.
This is ground control to Major Tom.
Do you hear? It's kind of strainy. This is ground control to Major Tom. Like, he's just barely hanging on for dear life, guys. It's not like, but we remember this as this epic piece. And when I put in the track, it covers a multitude of sins, so you don't really hear what's going on. But if I played this for you, and let's put everything aside. Look, to be honest with me, like straight up. I came to you right now and I said, hey guys, I want you to hear something. It's this demo this guy sent me, right? I play this line to you and I say, I want you to hear, tell me what you think of this.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
You'd say, it kind of sounds like a strainy David Bowie. And I said to you, actually, that's Space Oddity and those are his original solo vocals. You'd go, really? Because we wow things because of mystery and intrigue and, you know, all the different the production that goes into stuff. And so a singer is only a singer because they have the guts to be one. He had the guts to be one, and then of course, as he you know metamorphosized himself and reinvented himself over the years, he became this incredibly awesome, legendary guy. But he didn't necessarily start out that way. He started like this, and then grew and grew and grew his talent. But I want you to listen to even the voice crack. This is ground control, the major tom. Like he cracks, and he can barely even sustain the second note. I'm surprised he didn't retake it. Listen to it.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
Right. Great. Right. He kind of broke a little bit, and then he kind of leaned into the sound a little bit more to catch his fall, so to speak, of his voice going into that next section. Here we go.
And the papers want to know whose shirts you wear.
Where? Right. He couldn't hold the note. Right. He didn't go where. It's where. Right. And he kind of cracks at the end. Interesting. By the way, he's still David Bowie. He's still awesome, guys. I'm not saying he's not, but the proof is in the singing, right? Check it out.
Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare.
Hear that? It's very unsustained, unsupported. And I talk to, hey! I teach you guys how to maintain good vocal health, how to stay nice and strong and supported, how to grow that sound. So his voice never got any bigger. Now, it's, you know, a lot of crooners don't really care because crooners are crooners. They're not looking for big, you know, huge belty voices. And I get that. That's fine. So people don't necessarily have to work that hard at their diaphragmatic support and whatnot. If that's the only kind of sound they're going to go after and they're going to be really one-dimensional in their sound, that's fine. And that is what it is. So check this out.
And I'm floating in the most peculiar way.
Way!
And the stars look very different today. For here.
Let's hear that. It's for here. I'm sitting in my tin can. Right? Listen how it is. Even his opening note is really pitchy.
For here.
It's not even in the key. For here, right?
For here am I sitting in a tin can.
It's like, it's kind of not even really in a decent key, but there are some people, somehow, some singers, that are able to sing out of pitch. Bono is one of them. He just sounds like he's a donkey on the edge, you know, just barely hanging on to his notes, right? And they're able to pull it off because they have so much character to the sound. They sing with so much conviction in their sound, and they have so much swag in what they're doing that it's kind of part of their shtick, right? And so this has kind of an unnerving sort of song, and it's kind of an unnerving vocal, and so we say, that's great. But what's great about it is the passion and emotion in it, and the storytelling, that we just go, oh wow, we're so intrigued and sucked into that part of it that we're not noticing all this other stuff going on in the background.
Far above the world.
Guys, if I played you that line, I'm going to say this one more time and then I'll shut up. If I played you just this one line and I said, who do you think this is?
Far above the world.
You'd probably say, it sounds like some British kid with a demo kind of trying a song or something, right? It doesn't sound like Space Oddity, right? To me.
Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
And there's that really weird kind of unstable vibrato, right? But the song is a really good song. It was super catchy, and the concept is really catchy. But let's continue. Here we go.
Though I'm past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still. And I think my spaceship knows which way to go.
Okay, let's continue.
Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong, can you hear me, Major Tom?
Now, I want to say something that's interesting about this part. He goes from kind of a storytelling thing into a very militant thing, right? So what's interesting about good storytellers is if they say, you know, I gotta get up, I wanna cool down, right? when they say the word up, they go up, you get it. Like, I want to go down. It'd be kind of weird. I want to go down. It'd be weird. I want to go up. Right? It's kind of messes with your mind when you do something like that. So what's interesting about this is he goes into this really kind of militant thing. On 1 minute, he's kind of got some cool, interesting swag with his rhythm in the track. And now he goes like this as you hear it. And that's what the lyric is talking about. Check it out.
Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong, can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom?
And even down when he goes, can you hear me, Major Tom? Breaker 1-4, we got a 211 in process. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Tom, can you hear me? Major Tom, Tom, can you come in? Tom, can you hear me? It gives you that illusion, or that effect, I should say, when he's doing it as part of the song, which is also interesting because it forces you into that space of what reminds you of what you expect from a line like that, right? Instead of being sing-songy and, can you hear me, Major Tom? Yeah, 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 right? He's not doing that. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Right, he's got this vibe going on. Check it out.
Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear, am I floating round my tin?
Now, all of a sudden, you're back with Major Tom in the capsule, and it's real ethereal. And can you hear, I'm floating in a tin can. And we all know the ending of the song, or if you know the song, you know it. You know he's not going to make it, right? So he just gets lost in space, forever. But then there's this sort of realization that he knows he's not going to make it, and he's just like, oh wow, this is kind of a suicide mission in a way, and this is kind of what I'm going to become, and I get no way out of this, right?
Can you hear, am I floating round my tin can?
Weird vocal.
Far above the moon, planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
Pretty sad, right? Kind of creepy sad. And that was his shtick, right? That was his whole ending, his whole ending shtick. Right, and then you got this weird circusing. Those are what are those flute things you kind of swing around with? That's like a hose that makes that noise. Right? Okay, now there's an ending, but I don't want to go into all this too because it has just like a lot of effect. But I want to do is I want to go now to the top of the song, and I just want to put the music in so you can hear how it works with the music and how we don't now really notice all these anomalies in his voice and whatnot.
Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on.
Okay, there's that part. I'm going to go to the next section here. Check it out.
This is ground control to Major Tom.
Now, you probably hear the funk in his voice now that I pointed it out to you, right? But I don't think you would have necessarily noticed it much in the song. And most tracks are like that. There are a few exceptions, and there are definitely, I mean, when I listened to Whitney and I did her, I'm like, I am not worthy. And there are those singers out there, Mariah and some others. But in this case, for the singer-songwriter standpoint, he has to work extra hard in order to get you into his music because he can't rely on all the calisthenics vocally. Instead, he's got his story to tell and his character and his passion and the songwriting and all the other things that go with that.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made me great.
Great!
And the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare.
Okay, let's go to the next section. Here we go.
And I'm floating in the most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world.
Last line coming up.
Planet Earth is
Okay, and then there's this section, this fast section that comes up and whatnot. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did. I really love doing this stuff. I have a lot of information and a lot of backstory stuff, and I'm just enjoying, dissecting this stuff and sharing my heart with you so that you can really see how this stuff was done, and we can really put some flesh and blood on some of these, again, legendary pieces to where we're like in the room with them. It's kind of interesting. Can't you kind of visualize yourself in the control room watching them sing this stuff? That's sort of how I see it. It's almost ghostly interesting, right? Hauntingly cool. So with that said, gang, thank you for joining me. I've got more on your way, and definitely check out my next video.